Brené Brown has been one of my heroes for years. And it started when I watched her TED Talk, where she reflected on herself and became very vulnerable and open, and pretty much it came across that she, who thought as a scientist and professor that she had it all together, some of that crumbled and fell apart. And it was like, okay, what holds when my ideas, my reflection, my life, when it doesn't add up anymore? So she keeps doing her research and consulting with organizations, with companies and the military, different groups. And what I appreciate about her is her boldness and her challenging individuals and organizations to become learning organizations or learning groups, learning leaders. We're never done. And the greatest challenge she often encounters in talking and in leading teams is that people are not open, but they think they have to have all the answers. Like when there is some leader in an organization, she or he thinks like, I have to know, I have to know, I have to know, or I do know, I do know, I do know, and not making room enough for curiosity, for asking questions, for the wisdom of all who are on the team. Like, we have challenges, we have questions. Let's put them all on the table and talk with the entire team about them versus one person has to have or is supposed to have the answers and the others are only to execute. Now, I was especially curious when Brené Brown and Adam Grant, they had like a scarfuffle. Adam Grant, also social scientist doing organizational work, consulting with groups and companies. So they had a kerfuffle, a struggle over quoting and not quoting, and what is authentic and what is not authentic, and should we all be authentic and self-revealing. So they were kind of somewhat at odds, but then they didn't give up on that and said like, I want to understand you better, can you help me with this? So they came closer, and right now they're running a podcast together. It's called The Curiosity Shop. So two brilliant people who are bright, who do research, who have their act together, and who continue to learn, do this podcast, Curiosity Shop, and it's fascinating. And one of the greatest gifts to me is how open they are for conversation and how much they challenge each other and compliment each other, and even if they don't agree with one another, but they stay in relationship and in conversation. So, why do I share all this story? Because one of the most recent podcasts was about including paradox. How do we live with paradox, or why is paradox so important to us? Because often, even when I think of myself, growing up and at age 20 and 22, I thought I know everything in the world. Well, I've done a lot of unlearning since then, and still learning in the process. But paradox meaning that the word "and" is so much more important and valuable than the word or versus. So often we think right or wrong, right or left, up or down, blue or red, independence relationship. So we often think in either or terms. I think the challenge and the beautiful in a world complex as it is right now is that we are invited to think, yes, right, not or left, but right and left. It's like with our hands. Some are right-handed. What would you do if you wouldn't have a left hand too? Oh my gosh. We need the other side too, the other part. And versus demonizing the other side that we may not feel as comfortable with, so much more important to integrate or to be in relationship with. Like, it's not just about freedom, everything about freedom, but it's about freedom and responsibility. It's about courage and humility. It's about identity, who I am, but it's also about community. It's about conviction, what really matters to me, my values, and being in conversation with others. It's about unity and diversity. Doesn't that make sense to all of us? Rather than thinking black and white, up or down, or I versus the world, or I'm better than all others, to be in conversation and to explore and to learn more. Now, how does that apply to us as individuals, to us as a community, and to us as a nation, or beyond just the nation to the entire world, to humanity? How do some of these complex, more detailed additions to combining and integrating different aspects matter to us as individuals and to others? Well, to me, one big thing that really matters for us as individuals and for community and the nation and the world is unity and diversity. We're all so very different, are we not? Yet, we're also called to become one, to be one community, to reach out, to learn from one another. I heard this saying, like, every person you meet knows something you do not. Do we often go with that? Do we go with that curiosity in conversation? Do we live as individuals or as a nation like that? Where and how does united, as United States, and the value for all its diversity, all its individuality of different people, where do they complement each other and where do they come together, and where are both important? Like, we're very intentional in our name of being the united Church of Christ, and not just being united, but it's meant to be a uniting church. We're not done. It's a process. We live in conversation. We listen to one another. We grow by making room for others, but also to have space to be who we are in the presence of others. So, unity and diversity, not unity versus diversity. What about greatness and service? It's not either I'm great or I'm of service or have a sense of humility, but it's both. I love how Martin Luther King Jr. defined greatness. He said, and I paraphrase, that greatness is not found in how great I am and whether I am smarter or bigger or higher or wealthier or so on than others. So it's not in the comparing myself to others how great I am, but greatness becomes visible in service. So greatness defined as, what can I do for my fellow human being? What can I do in the community, in our country, in the world, beyond just myself? You see the difference? It's not me versus the world, but it is where and how can I contribute, make a difference. So it's not greatness versus humility and service, but we need both. To me, when I think of our nation and for us as individuals, it is an incredible journey. It's an incredible journey. What an experiment, 250 years, and trying to make it work with such a diverse, incredible diversity of human beings. We're all part of that immigrant. It's like someone said, we all came on different ships, but right now we're all in the same boat, trying to make it work, and that's not always easy, is it? So, to me, what really matters is for us as individuals and for us as a church and nation to be a people of vision and of hope. If our founding generation, if they would not have had the vision, the hope, the energy, seeing the potential and the opportunity, we wouldn't be here. So something is possible. A better world is possible. Do we live into that? Are we following that call that a better world, a better nation is possible? What Martin Luther King Jr., again, many people call it one of the greatest speeches ever. I have a dream. I have a vision. A better world is possible. Do we let those better angels of our nature, do we give them room and do we follow them in leading us forward? So how does this relate to our scripture readings? Well, we heard the Romans passage. It's not always easy, is it? It's a wrestling, it's a struggle, and it's messy. It's messy. As someone said, just like with sausage, when you see the legislature, how laws are made, it's messy. You may not want to look at it, but it's necessary. So some of the work is messy, and we're torn inside, and we have some of those challenges we're facing in our community and beyond. We're struggling. And it has never been, whatever has been worth living for has never been easy, my friends. Think of your life. Whatever was worth living for and investing for costs something, is worth something, investment, sweat, blood, and tears. And the other piece, where Jesus said, with Matthew, in the Matthew passage, we're not alone in this. Jesus uses the image of the yoke. And when you go back to yokes, what did yokes do? They partner two animals together, so they would not be one mule or one ox or one goat. There's small yokes for goats, and it never knew that, but now I do. So, but the point of a yoke is, you're not on your own in it. We are yoked with Jesus. When he says, you're not on your own in this. You're yoked with me. It's the same work, the same journey, the tilling, the planting, the weeding, the harvesting into which we're all invited. So, when you think of your life, when you think of our nation overall, 250 years, What are you grateful for? What blessings do you count? And where and how are you challenged and invited to live into the dream, into the vision of a better world and a better United States is possible? It's not either or. It is gratitude and invitation and challenge. Where and how will you participate in that?